Part 1.
You'll hear three friends talking to each other about a lecture they have just attended. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 7. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 7. Hey, Kobe! So did you enjoy that lecture? I did actually. Stock markets in general interest me, and it was very informative to learn about what led to the stock market crash in the late 2000s.
I couldn't understand half the things that Professor Roberts said. In fact, I feel like my head's going to explode. Did you enjoy it, Jim?
Perhaps not as much as Kobe did, but I did find certain aspects of the lecture extremely intriguing. For example, why did the regulators not step in earlier when it was clear to almost everyone that we were experiencing a real estate bubble? Ah, you are making the classic mistake of a hindsight bias, my friend.
Hindsight bias? What is that now?
Hindsight bias is the inclination, after an event has occurred, to see the event as having been predictable, despite there having been little or no objective basis for predicting it.
Ooh, now that sounds interesting. I love discussions that delve into the human psyche and why people act the way they do.
You'll love Dr. Martha's class, Economics in the Real World, then.
I'm already excited. Tell me more about it.
So, Dr. Martha basically picks up seemingly disconnected topics such as the violent crime rate in Birmingham and the dearth of doctors in Britain, and connects the two, using economic theory.
That sounds fascinating.
It's fascinating indeed. I'll also be attending that class for sure. Are you guys hungry? I was just going to the cafeteria to grab a bite.
Oh, I'm starving.
Yeah, I'll come along too. So, which way is the cafeteria now? I heard someone say it's on the second.
Oh, I know where it is. I went there to get a cup of coffee before the class. It's actually on the 3rd floor.
Great, let's go then. I think I'll have a cup of coffee first. Let me see what choices they have. There's cappuccino, macchiato, and espresso.
Try the macchiato, it's really good. That's the one I had earlier today.
I'm sure it's good, but I think I need something stronger. I'll go for an espresso.
And don't you want something to eat as well?
Yes, a Mexican grilled sandwich, please.
And what will you have, Jim?
My sweet tooth is acting up, so I think I'll have a blueberry muffin and a peach iced tea.
Sure. You guys take up a table and I'll just place our orders and come.
Now, that will be difficult, because this place sure looks crowded. I see an empty table in that corner. Come quickly.
So you guys did manage to get a table after all?
Yup, we did, albeit one with a broken leg, but it's better than not having it. So how much do we owe you, Letitia?
Let me see. So Jim owes me $8.50, and Kobe, you owe me $7.50.
Here's $8.50.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I think I got my math upside down. Jim, you owe me $7.50 and Kobe owes me $8.50.
That lecture seems to have left you all dizzy. Before listening to the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 8 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 8 to 10.
It sure has. I still can't understand why that lemon company went broke.
Lemon Company? Oh, you mean Lemon Brothers. It was a huge investment bank, not some company that sold lemon juice. They shut down in September 2008.
Well, all their clients did end up with lemons in the end, so I guess it's an appropriate name. What was the other investment bank that just about managed to stay afloat? Goldsmith something, was it?
Goldman Sachs, actually.
Ah, right, Goldman Sachs. Oh, enough of academic talk. Let's go out for a play tonight, shall we?
I'm on. I hear they're staging Moulin Rouge at the Grecian Theatre tonight. I've always wondered how you spell Moulin Rouge.
That's simple. It's M for Monday, O for Octopus, U for Uranus, L for London, I for India, and N for New. That's Moulin, and Rouge is R for Rat, O for Octopus, U for Uranus, G for Gas, and E for Elephant. That's Moulin Rouge.
That is the end of part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 2. Cut 2.
You will hear a pet store owner talk about factors to keep in mind while selecting a pet. First, you have time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen and answer questions 11 to 14. When you choose a pet, you accept responsibility for the health and welfare of another living thing. You're making a promise to care for your pet for his or her entire life. You also become responsible for your pet's impact on your family, friends and community. Your pet-owning experience will be most enjoyable if you consider carefully what type of pet best suits your family, home and lifestyle. Unfulfilled expectations are a leading reason why people give away, abandon, or give pets up for adoption. So invest the time and effort to make an informed decision and ensure the years with your future pet are happy ones. When considering a pet that's right for you and your family, consider the following factors. Do you already have any pets? If so, will your current pet accept another pet of the same or a different species? If you're not certain, your veterinarian can help you answer this question. What are you looking for in a pet? Do you want a lap warmer, a running buddy, or a pet that's easy to care for? This will affect your pet's choice. Who will care for your pet? Consider the experience level and abilities of the caretaker who will provide for the pet, as well as how much time they will have available. If you have young children, a pet that's active at night would not be as good a choice as one that is active during the time your child is awake. Although it's good to involve children in caring for pets if you have them, it is unrealistic to expect a child to be solely responsible for any pet's care and welfare. Before listening to the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20. Do local laws or your housing arrangement limit your choice of pet? If you rent, your landlord may restrict the type or number of pets you can have. Condominium and townhouse associations may have similar restrictions. If you live in a city, your choice of pet may be very different from your choice if you lived in the suburbs or the country. Some species or breeds of pets are not allowed by building, town, county or state ordinances. Consider also the amount of exercise your pet will need. and whether your living arrangements accommodate that need. Are you able to provide the amount of attention your pet will need? And how many years are you willing to commit yourself to caring for a pet? Different species and breeds of animals have differing needs for companionship and attention, as well as differing life expectancies. For example, some larger birds have been known to live more than 100 years. Do your research to make sure you have a realistic understanding of the commitment you're making when you get a particular type of pet. Can you afford the costs of caring for your pet? Some species or breeds of pets have special needs that may require additional cost or effort. Think of the needs your pet will have for food, housing, socialization, exercise, grooming, and veterinary care. And make sure you can afford and are willing and able to provide them. Some pets, such as reptiles, amphibians, pocket pets, and birds, require special veterinary care. So make sure there's a veterinarian in your area who can provide that care. How long will you be away from your pet? Do you work long hours or travel frequently? Some pets need more frequent exercise or feeding, and might not be a good choice for owners who spend a lot of time away from home. Who will care for your pet in your absence? Consider not just short-term absences, but also what might happen if your pet outlives you, and plan accordingly for your pet's care. What future changes might occur in your living situation that would affect your ability to keep your pet in years to come? You are making a commitment to that pet for their life, so consider, what will you do with your pet if your life situation changes? While selecting a pet, one thing that you must keep in mind is that wild animals should not be kept as pets. They are not domesticated and often do not behave in a manner that's acceptable in a family home. Wild animals have specific needs that are difficult or impossible to meet in a home environment, and this can put their health and life at risk. In addition, they may pose a threat of disease for other pets and for human family members. Leave wild animals wild and appreciate them from afar, for your safety and theirs.
The end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3. Part 3.
You'll hear a patient discuss his illness with the doctor. First, you have time to look at questions 21 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 21 to 30. Hello, Dr. Smith. May I come in?
Hi. Yes, come in, please. So what can I do for you?
I've been running a cold since 2 days and I don't feel too well.
All right, let's start from the beginning. You said you've been running a cold? Have you been taking any medicines for it?
Nothing specific. I just took an anti-allergy pill and some vitamin C tablets.
So apart from the cold, do you also have a sore throat or a cough?
Yes, both of them actually, and a severe body ache too. My joints especially hurt a lot.
Let's start by taking your temperature. Oh, it's 102 degrees. That's definitely on the higher side, but nothing to worry about. I'll give you a paracetamol tablet that will take care of your fever. Make sure you don't take more than 1 tablet within a 4-hour period though.
That will be great, Doctor. Before listening to the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 24 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 24 to 30.
I also suggest that you continue taking that anti-allergy pill. Take 1 pill in the morning after breakfast and 1 in the evening before dinner.
So that's 1 pill after breakfast and another after dinner.
No. The evening pill is to be taken before dinner.
Right. 1 pill after breakfast and 1 before dinner.
I'm also writing some blood tests. If your fever persists until tomorrow, then I suggest you get these done, so we can rule out dengue and malaria.
Do you think I could be suffering from dengue? I've been reading in the papers how several people have already died of it.
I can't be sure until you get that blood test done. However, there is no reason to get alarmed. The symptoms of dengue are similar to those of flu, so you could be suffering from a simple case of flu for all you know. In any case, only extreme cases of dengue result in the death of the patient, so relax.
For a moment, I was really scared. Are there any particular food items that I should avoid for the next few days?
Yes, stay away from very hot or very cold food items, as they can disturb the temperature balance within your body. Also avoid very spicy food. Fatty foods and sweets should also be avoided. Stick to green vegetables and fruits. Have yogurt and curd. Chicken soup is also very good. Also have several cups of hot tea to keep that cold in check.
Thanks for that list, Doctor. I'll clean up my refrigerator today itself. I had one last question. My sister is coming over to visit me tomorrow and she has 2 young kids. Can my cold spread to them?
Yes, flu is a highly contagious disease and young children have a weak immune system, so it is very much possible for them to contract your flu.
Jeez, now that's a problem. I can't tell her to cancel now at the last minute. Or should I?
You don't need to ask her to cancel her trip. However, when she is here, you must take certain precautions. Avoid touching the 2 children or even being in the same room as them. Make sure your eating utensils and drinking glass are used only to serve you and don't mix them up with the other utensils. Use a handkerchief while sneezing so you don't spread your germs around.
Sure, I will take all those precautions. I just hope the kids don't catch this flu. I think I'll get my blood test done in any case. The report will take a day to get prepared, so should I see you the day after tomorrow?
Certainly. Oh, actually, no, you can't. I just remembered I have to go for a medical symposium day after tomorrow, so you can see me on Friday instead. Keep taking the medicines I've written until then.
I will. Thanks a lot for your time, Doctor.
That is the end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 4.
Part 4.
You will hear an environmental expert speak about global warming and climate change. First, you have time to look at questions 31 to 40. To further explore the causes and effects of global warming and to predict future warming, scientists build climate models, computer simulations of the climate system. Climate models are designed to simulate the responses and interactions of the oceans and atmosphere, and to account for changes to the land surface, both natural and human-induced. They comply with fundamental laws of physics, conservation of energy, mass, and momentum, and account for dozens of factors that influence Earth's climate. Though the models are complicated, rigorous tests with real-world data hone them into powerful tools that allow scientists to explore our understanding of climate in ways not otherwise possible. By experimenting with the models, removing greenhouse gases emitted by the burning of fossil fuels, or changing the intensity of the sun to see how each influences the climate, scientists use the models to better understand Earth's current climate and to predict future climate. The models predict that as the world consumes ever more fossil fuel, greenhouse gas concentrations will continue to rise, and Earth's average surface temperature will rise with them. Based on a range of plausible emission scenarios, average surface temperatures could rise between 2 degrees centigrade and 6 degrees centigrade by the end of the 21st century. Greenhouse gases are only a part of the story when it comes to global warming. Changes to one part of the climate system can cause additional changes to the way the planet absorbs or reflects energy. These secondary changes are called climate feedbacks, and they could more than double the amount of warming caused by carbon dioxide alone. The primary feedbacks are due to snow and ice, water vapor, clouds, and the carbon cycle. Perhaps the most well-known feedback comes from melting snow and ice in the northern hemisphere. Warming temperatures are already melting a growing percentage of Arctic sea ice, exposing dark ocean water during the perpetual sunlight of summer. Snow cover on land is also dwindling in many areas. In the absence of snow and ice, these areas go from having bright, sunlight-reflecting surfaces that cool the planet to having dark, sunlight-absorbing surfaces that bring more energy into the Earth's system and cause more warming. The largest feedback is water vapor. Water vapor is a strong greenhouse gas. In fact, because of its abundance in the atmosphere, water vapor causes about 2/3 of greenhouse warming, a key factor in keeping temperatures in the habitable range on Earth. But as temperatures warm, more water vapor evaporates from the surface into the atmosphere, where it can cause temperatures to climb further. The question that scientists ask is, how much water vapor will be in the atmosphere in a warming world? The atmosphere currently has an average equilibrium or balance between water vapor concentration and temperature. As temperatures warm, the atmosphere becomes capable of containing more water vapor, and so water vapor concentrations go up to regain equilibrium. Will that trend hold as temperatures continue to warm? The amount of water vapor that enters the atmosphere ultimately determines how much additional warming will occur due to the water vapor feedback. The atmosphere responds quickly to the water vapor feedback. So far, most of the atmosphere has maintained a near constant balance between temperature and water vapor concentration, as temperatures have gone up in recent decades. If this trend continues, and many models say that it will, water vapor has the capacity to double the warming caused by carbon dioxide alone. Closely related to the water vapor feedback is the cloud feedback. Clouds cause cooling by reflecting solar energy, but they also cause warming by absorbing infrared energy from the surface when they are over areas that are warmer than they are. In our current climate, clouds have a cooling effect overall, but that could change in a warmer environment. If clouds become brighter, or the geographical extent of bright clouds expands, they will tend to cool Earth's surface. Clouds can become brighter if more moisture converges in a particular region, or if more fine particles enter the air. If fewer bright clouds form, it will contribute to warming from the cloud feedback. Clouds, like greenhouse gases, also absorb and re-emit infrared energy. Low, warm clouds emit more energy than high, cold clouds. However, in many parts of the world, energy emitted by low clouds can be absorbed by the abundant water vapor above them. Further, low clouds often have nearly the same temperatures as the Earth's surface, and so emit similar amounts of infrared energy. In a world without low clouds, the amount of emitted infrared energy escaping to space would not be too different from a world with low clouds. Increased atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations and warming temperatures are causing changes in the Earth's natural carbon cycle that can also feed back on atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration. For now, primarily ocean water, and to some extent ecosystems on land, are taking up about half of our fossil fuel and biomass burning emissions. This behavior slows global warming by decreasing the rate of atmospheric carbon dioxide increase, but that trend may not continue. Warmer ocean waters will hold less dissolved carbon, leaving more in the atmosphere.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.